Hey there, welcome back to my channel. Recently, I have done a video on if you are vaccinated, where in the world you can go, what countries are having special uh, entry requirements, or I should say less entry requirements if you are vaccinated. But I did not want to leave out the non-vaccinated people. If it is your choice not to get vaccinated, there are still a lot of places that you can go and countries that are welcoming you in. Typically, though, it usually is just with a test and perhaps a quarantine period. But today I'm going to cover 10 countries that are allowing non-vaccinated people to enter. So if you want to travel in 2021, these just might be the ticket. So let's go ahead and dive in. All right, I have received this information from a website called Centrav, and it was updated just 2 days ago. Right now it is April 21st, 2021. And so this is somewhat new information, but as you know, things change literally daily, sometimes hourly. So if you haven't seen it yet, I just did a video recently, which I will link somewhere up here so that you can take a look. It is 3 websites where you can verify what entry requirements are for every country. So you can look and see exactly what the situation is up to date, whether they're allowing visitors or not, and what the restrictions are. So I'll go ahead and link that below or above if you'd like to take a look at that video. But for today, I want to talk about countries specifically allowing non-vaccinated individuals in. If you have been vaccinated, you can also go to these countries, of course, but I've also made a video, which again, I will link above or below, that talks about countries that have special circumstances where they're allowing vaccinated individuals in without quarantines and testing and so forth. So take a look at that video if you are vaccinated. Okay, but let's go ahead and dive in. If you are not vaccinated, here are 10 countries that you might decide you'd like to travel to in 2021 if you choose not to get your vaccine. Okay, number 1, Turkey. So Turkey is requiring anybody ages 6 or older has to have a negative test. And they have to give it to the airline upon check-in. And then you also have to fill out a form on arrival. And then you also get checked when you arrive for any kind of symptoms. It's kind of a basic health screening. And if you do have COVID and you're there, then you get taken to a hospital or sent to a dormitory, it says, for self-isolation. Now, I'm going to go ahead and link the article that I've gotten this from below. So all of the countries that we're talking about have links to the embassies for each of these countries. So if you would like to learn more about any specific country I'm talking about, please go ahead and check out that link below. All right, that was number 1, Turkey. Number 2 is Uganda. Now, Uganda actually reopened to visitors in October of 2020, and they are allowing air travelers have to provide proof again of a negative COVID test within 120 hours of arrival to Uganda. The test is also required on the outbound, even if your home country doesn't require it. So if you're returning back to your country, even if they don't require a test, they still want you to take a test before you leave Uganda. Number 3 is Ireland. Now, Ireland, you have to have a negative test within 72 hours of your arrival, but travel is permitted to Ireland, but movement is restricted. So you can get there, but you might not be able to go all over the island. So travelers have to fill out a passenger locator form, and you have to quarantine for 14 days. Now, this is what the current regulations are. As the vaccine spreads, if you choose to get a vaccine, that might change things. But also as more people get vaccinated, perhaps in Ireland, maybe the quarantine, even if you're not vaccinated, might get shorter. So if you are interested in going to Ireland, keep an eye out because this might change. But if you really want to go and you want to stay longer than 2 weeks, then by all means go. You just know you're going to have to quarantine for 2 weeks and have that negative COVID test. All right, number 4 is going to be the Bahamas. Now, the Bahamas, same thing. You will need to have a negative test, and you have to have a travel health visa, which you get through the embassy in the Bahamas. And then you also have to test again within 5 days of arrival. So if you are going to stay less than 5 days, you might be able to get away with not testing again. But if you're going to stay longer than 5 days, you will have to take a second test in the Bahamas. All right, number 5 is Croatia. Now, Croatia is allowing people to enter with a negative test within 48 hours of arrival. And when I'm saying within a certain length of time, that means if you're going to arrive on Saturday, you need to have your test done Thursday or later in order to have it within that 48 hours of your arrival in the country. So that is Croatia, 48 hours. And then you also have to show proof of paid accommodation in advance and in full prior to arrival on the border. So you can't just have a accommodation reservation alone. You can't just have a reservation. You actually have to have a fully paid reservation at wherever it is that you're planning to stay, or they will not allow you to enter the country. All right, number 6 is Thailand. Now, Thailand is allowing visitors. There are testing requirements in place as well as mandatory quarantine periods. You need to check with the U.S. Embassy website along with the Thai Embassy to get all of the details. It's a bit of work, but it is possible. And again, those links are in that article that I've linked in the description below. Number 7 is Brazil. Now, I hesitate to say this one because Brazil has had such terrible numbers lately, but if it is something that you really want to do, they are accepting travelers. Just, check it out first before you decide to go. But if you do decide to go, there are restrictions on entry by land or sea, but you can visit Brazil by air as long as you comply with the safety measures. And that includes a health declaration and a negative test. And the embassy to Brazil is linked below. So if you'd like to get more information about that, you can get that link below. Number 8 is Honduras. Honduras requires travelers to jump through a few safety measures before entering. First, all passengers entering and exiting have to do an immigration pre-check form. A negative COVID test is required, and passengers also need to comply with health screening when they arrive. Number 9 is Jamaica. Jamaica wants travelers to obtain a travel authorization within 72 hours of arrival. And then they present this travel authorization and negative COVID test or an antigen test result to the airline representative when boarding your flight to Jamaica. And to learn more about that travel authorization form, again, those links are in the article below. All right, and then number 10 is South Africa. Travelers to South Africa need to have a negative test within 72 hours. And then you also have to have a health screening when you arrive. And any traveler having symptoms will need to quarantine and have another test before they will be released from quarantine. And there are some other countries beyond this. This is just the 10 in this particular article, but I do know that Greece is reopening and may have some possibilities for non-vaccinated individuals. I know there's rumors that France is going to reopen, but they might be only vaccinated. So again, take a look. In fact, actually, I'm going to link it here. Take a look at this article here, our video, so that you can see what websites to look at so you can get up-to-date information about all restrictions for all countries. So if you choose to travel in 2021, I'm wishing you the safe and happy travel. And until then, I will see you on the next video. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.